Good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday, 9 p.m. Brazil time, and it is time for class. Today, we're going to talk about something that is a big wall for many people who are learning a language. Welcome, Janine. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Afonso. This is a very nice class that I have for you today. I hope you enjoy. And if you don't know me, hello, Maria do Carmo. Hi, Cacá. Bia, Gabs, João Marcelo, hello everybody. Welcome. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the theme of the class. I am ready to share everything that I do on a daily basis with my students, everything that I suggest to them with you. If you don't know me, I'm Renata. I'm here to help you take your English from okay, that English that doesn't reflect your real competence, professional competence, to the English that opens doors, the English that only 2% of Brazilians actually speak, unfortunately. So let's expand that number, right? Hi, Gabi, dear gold digger, welcome. Ma, Kézia, Letícia, so many people walking in. Hit the like button here to invite more people in. All right, we have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. And as you know, I like to go straight to the point. I start on time and I go. I'm not going to, take long to begin, okay? So what I am about to share with you is that I am confusing the sides because I got used to the mirror of the camera being mirrored. And then I had the brilliant idea to get a filter. And I do not have to write things backwards anymore. I can just use this filter and there we go. We have a regular, everybody can read page for you. So this is what we're going to do tonight. Learn how to measure your English and stop comparing yourself to others. Why are these two things connected? We will see. I'm going to talk about the connection between measuring your own English and comparing yourself to other people. All right? This is the topic of the class today, as you can see in the title as well. Hi, Homo, another gold digger coming in. Hi, Fernanda, welcome. Okay, so basically we're going to start from the first part of the class, measuring your English, okay? First of all, let's forget about academic names, technical names. You are students, you want to use English for your real lives. English is a means to an end. It's a tool for something that you want. The 2% English that represents a lot of other things, actually. A job, a promotion, an opportunity to live abroad, confidence at work, being recognized, by your competence, all that and more. So how are we going to look at this measuring, of this measurement of your English? First of all, we're going to evaluate what is important to cause a nice first impression. What people see when you open your mouth and you start talking, when you start speaking, in a very practical way. Okay, I'm going to be very practical. I'm going to be very straight to the point here with my opinion, my experience, and the way that I see how English is seen and how English is used, okay, by many people. Hi, Deborah. Welcome, Gold Digger. Okay, so you know how when you cause that first impression, you walk in, you start speaking, you have like a paff moment, all right? Paff. There's like, okay, this person opened their mouth and paff. That's the moment of the first impression. What is going to happen, with your English and what it's going to cause. Before I start going into the path, the three first things that you're going to pay attention to about your English and self-analyze. I would like to remind you of the concept of awareness. Without awareness, you won't change your English. You need to recognize what you need to change. You need to learn that, develop that ability to improve yourself by understanding where you need to improve. So the self-assessment And self-awareness is absolutely fundamental, okay? So work on that. All right, so what does the letter P stand for? Pronunciation. So analyze your own pronunciation, because pronunciation is the looks, is the outfit of the language. If someone doesn't actually speak the language very well, still they are able to tell if you sound polluted, if your pronunciation is incorrect or beautiful. And many times that assessment is not correct. Someone can have a very good pronunciation or a good pronunciation and still not have an excellent English. However, it's the first impression. We know how first impressions work, right? So now stop to think. What is your pronunciation like nowadays? Does your pronunciation sound clean? And forget about accent. I'm not talking about having an accent. I'm talking to a native speaker. They may be able to tell that I'm a Brazilian, and that's okay. But my pronunciation is correct and clear. I am not mispronouncing sounds or mixing one with the other. So evaluate your pronunciation now from 0 to 10. How do you see your pronunciation? 10 being flawless, let's say like a native speaker, or someone who was born and raised abroad, right? Maybe. To 0, like, my God, it's not really good at all. Assess that. That's a point for you to measure how your English is, where your English should be going, where it is and where it should be going. Second point of our path. The trio that is usually the priority when someone is talking to you and they can easily identify these points. Number 2, the A stands for accuracy. Accuracy is one of the pillars of our method, of the ACE method. Accuracy matters. Speaking bad grammar, wrong grammar, incorrect structures matters. Oh, what's important is to communicate. It depends. If you want to get a promotion, if you want an opportunity to work abroad, it's not just about communicating. It's about being accurate and speaking very correct English, leaving no room for miscommunication, right? Someone liked what I said. Please hit the like here if you like what's happening here so far. So now look at your own accuracy. Do you make mistakes? Okay, now let me list some things that you may be making, okay? Some mistakes that you may be making. Maybe when you choose the verb tense that you wanna use, you confuse. For example, telling a story in the past, sometimes you forget to use the past. Or you don't really use conditionals correctly, you know? You never use would, you always use will, when in fact you want to say something is hypothetical, imaginary. It's not that it will happen, it's that it would happen. Those choices of verb tenses, choosing a verb tense and not the other, that would be incorrect. So it's an accuracy problem. Prepositions, getting the wrong preposition, it's an accuracy problem. Saying something like, an example here that a student gave me today, saying something like, the report of John, or the report from John, when in fact you want to say John's report, to demonstrate possession. Accuracy. All right, you are inventing new rules when actually you should be using the right rule. How is your accuracy? Janine is saying that she needs to improve her accuracy. Okay, Janine? Good. So maybe, let's say, no, pronunciation I think is not a big problem for me. I can improve it, but it's not my major problem. What about accuracy? Do you think that your problem is more related to the P of pronunciation or the A of accuracy? Evaluate your English now. Think about it. Oh, I don't know if I am able to assess myself so well. I don't know where my grammar mistakes are. We'll get there, okay? I'm going to give you a hint about how to know if you're doing it right or wrong. And the P of path, that first impression that you cause when you are when you're speaking English. All right, Pedescovi said, me too. The F stands for flow. I kind of have my restrictions for about the word fluency, because to me, I think that one of the great abilities about English, about speaking English, is related to this, is related to how flowy your English is. If you stop to think, translating in your head, hey Jimmy, right? Jimmy is trying to talk to me. Jimmy is trying to control me. There he goes. If you know what I mean, if you watch the translation class, how to stop translating class, you know what I mean. So, it's the Jimmy trying to control your head. It's the lack of vocabulary. I don't have enough vocabulary, so I need to search for the words in my head. Or because you're not confident, you get really nervous before a meeting, during a meeting that you have to speak English. So you freeze, So the naturality that you speak, you don't have to stop, right? That's the flow. That's what I mean. And this is not something that you can learn from books, like a lesson to teach you how to speak like that. It's a lot of little things that add up and give you that flow when you speak. So the PAF, which are the 3 impact abilities when you speak English, you open your lips, open your mouth, what is going to come out and scream at the other person? Your pronunciation, your accuracy, if you speak correctly, and your flow. If you stop to think a lot, if you hesitate a lot, or if your English flows, if your communication is non-stop. Not I don't think that we can right? That would be the opposite of a flowy English. So the 3 elements here are a great way to begin measuring your own English. From 1 to 10, how much do you think your pronunciation, what mark would you grade? How would you grade your pronunciation? 0 to 10. Your accuracy, 0 to 10. Your flow, 0 to 10. Do that now. Write down, get a piece of paper, or mentally write down how much, you would give yourself. What score would you give yourself? And why am I separating? There are 2 more elements, but these elements are something that later on you should think about and you should assess and you should, worry about. These 3 first elements here, pronunciation, accuracy, and flow. Oh, I got a little ink on my finger. These 3, since they are the ones that the other person will see first, you should prioritize them. It's impossible to do everything at the same time, to fix everything at the same time. It's overwhelming. We get anxious and then we stop, we freeze because it's too hard, because English is too hard. So prioritize. All right, Janine is grading herself then, 656. Great, Janine. Start from there. I'll tell you what to do with those numbers at the end of the class. If you feel comfortable, do the same. Write your grades here. How much is your pronunciation, your accuracy, and your flow? What are the other 2 elements that you can use to measure your English? The other 2 pillars of our method, whether your English is clear-cut and elevated. Being clear-cut is about being idiomatic, objective, straight to the point, speaking natural English, not aportuguesado English, not the English that you construct from Portuguese, using the way that we communicate in Portuguese, taking it to English. Can you see? Can you understand that it's a more sophisticated step? That first you need to work on the basics, on your pronunciation, on your accuracy, on how well you can flow, with the language. And the last step is the elevated step. Elevated means freedom of choice. I choose my English. My English got to a point where I can choose if I want to speak. If I am a client at a store, I know how to talk to the salesman. If I am at a meeting with the head of my department, I know how to speak to him. I know how to present myself in front of 30 people at a meeting. I can choose my English then, no matter what. I am in control of my English. In control, freedom of choice. So, how clear-cut is your English from 0 to 10? Can you use idiomatic expressions naturally? Use. I'm not asking if you understand. I'm asking if you use. Do you use idiomatic phrases, whole sentences, connectors? You go like, nevertheless, or however, and not just but, and, so, because, but, and, so, because. Do you construct your speech based on what is more idiomatic or on what we do in Portuguese? And the elevated, from 0 to 10, how elevated do you consider your English is? How well can you navigate between situations? Informal, formal, I can navigate through them very well. No, I don't really choose words. I just have one way to say things, and that's how I go. That's how I flow. So these two are also great references for you to measure your own English, okay? And now, okay, so why is it so important to measure our own English well? Because when you are able to measure something with the correct reference, you stop comparing yourself to others and you start comparing yourself to yourself. You can today do what Janine did. Give yourself a grade. Study in a month. Look back and think out of the 5 letters, path first, the priority, pronunciation, accuracy, and flow. Which one have I improved? Clear cut, elevated. Which one have I improved? You can analyze 5. This thing is getting on my nerves. It won't go away. Yeah, I need a little bit of water. Okay, out of the 5. Okay, out of the 5, which one have you improved? Which one should you work on more? If your pronunciation is a 5 and your accuracy is a 7, maybe you should work on your pronunciation first or more, and that gives you that reference. We usually compare when we don't have a reference. You know how when you travel to a new city or a new country, especially a new country because the cultural differences are bigger, you naturally sit down at a restaurant or you walk down the streets and you naturally go like, this is so different. Different from what? Different from what you know. Different from Brazil. Look at the how drivers stop for pedestrians to cross the street. Wow, in my city it's not like that. What is new or something that is unknown to you, naturally you will tend to compare to something that is familiar to you, something that you know. You need a reference, right? So if you don't have a reference about what good English is, how to measure your own, you may be comparing yourself to other people, and that is not productive. I know it's cliche, but still we do it. It's cliche, but it's got to be repeated, compare yourself to yourself. Not only because we tend to compare ourselves to someone better than us, And then we tend to feel like, oh, so I'm not going to participate in this meeting because I'm so embarrassed of my English. I'm not going to try for apply for this job position because I'm embarrassed of my English, because my future boss speaks English so well. The opposite is also true. Sometimes we think that our English is better than someone's English because their pronunciation is not as beautiful as ours. And in fact, that person with a poorer pronunciation can be much more accurate than you, can be much more flowy than you, not translating in their head, and maybe their big problem is pronunciation. And we tend to judge someone's English based on pronunciation, when in fact there are many things involved, not just pronunciation. So we fall into that trap many times of thinking our English is better than someone's and then going like, I can't learn anything from this person, when in fact you can. And vice versa, freezing because you're comparing yourself to someone who speaks English more accurately than you, more clear-cut than you, more elevated, better pronunciation, and then you say like, oh, I can't be around that person because, they speak so much better than me. First of all, you don't know how long that person took to get where they are. They were you one day. They have been where you are, and you don't know how long they took to get there. And it doesn't mean you won't get there. Just because you are in the position you are today doesn't mean you won't reach the same English that they have today. So measure your own English and stop comparing yourself to others. That is absolutely useless. What you can do is learn from others. It's a whole different story, okay? What else here about comparing yourself to others? Let me see what else I forgot. Okay, something that I see that I guess it may be something cultural related to Brazilians, is we tend to really want, which is good and tricky at the same time. When we are around native speakers, we make an effort to speak like them, not to have an accent, to speak perfectly, and then if we don't, we refrain from the situation, we freeze. And I like to remind you of this. If you speak English, even if it's not the 2% English yet, you are bilingual. Probably more than they are, than a native speaker is. And even if they are bilingual too, they know what it's like to learn a second language, and they are probably not as good, in their second language, at their second language than as you are. So it's natural when you're learning a second language, it's natural not to be, perfect, not to have that perfect English. Or if I'm American, I speak Spanish, my Spanish is not perfect. If I'm Italian, I speak English, my English is not perfect, even if it's really good. So, take that with more naturality. If you are around native speakers, don't let that intimidate you. And if you are around Brazilians who speak English, don't let that intimidate you either. Some people get more intimidated by Brazilians speaking than by native speakers. They feel more hugged by native speakers, like, no, that's okay, your English is good, I understand you, than when they are around Brazilians, So also, regardless of who it is, okay, who is talking to you, who is, who is working with you or who is listening to you, don't let that affect you. I know it's hard, but remember how far you have gone. Compare yourself to yourself. Evolve every day. Don't just think that, things are going to happen like that. All right, let me see here. What else here? Okay, so then my last tip for you would be measure your English. Keep those 5 little letters with you, okay? PAF, prioritize these 3: pronunciation, accuracy, and flow. These 3. And also, whether or not you are being clear-cut and elevated. These 5 words will give you a nice measurement of evolution, of how you're doing, where you're going, and you should be grading yourself, and telling and rewarding yourself for the evolution and prioritizing at the same time. What should I prioritize? Maybe pronunciation now. I think I should work more on my pronunciation than on my accuracy, for example. So these are 5 elements that really, really tell you a lot about someone's English. You can even start maybe looking at someone that speaks English around you differently. Looking at their English like, what? This person, initially I thought their pronunciation was really bad, so their English was really bad. But you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, that person speaks very accurately, flowy, never hesitates, never stops to think about what they have to say. They use idiomatic expressions. Yeah, they need to improve their pronunciation, but there are so many good things about their English. And then look at your own English kindly as well. If you want, send me your grades by email, From 0 to 10, your pronunciation, 0 to 10, your accuracy, your flow, 0 to 10, how clear-cut you are and how elevated. Maybe in a month you can go back and, talk to me again and tell me how you, improve that and how things went. All right, Noel said, okay, assisti Semana de Lançamento. All right, you couldn't participate in the group, but you like the methodology. Great, Noel. Well, keep watching us. We are here every week. MC is not here with us today. She is actually flying to Brazil tomorrow. She's coming to Brazil, so she's off tonight. She's arranging things to come. But Noel, keep watching us. Our methodology is here in every class, in every post. Everyone, if you have any questions, about the class, feel free to send them now. Feel free to send them by DM, okay? I really wanted to help you. This was a suggestion from one of our followers and / student. And I think she nailed the theme. Comparing yourself to other people is one of the worst things that you can do if you want to evolve and reach the 2% English. So this would be very helpful if you can stop doing that and start measuring your own English, comparing yourself to yourself, maybe every month, every 2 weeks, considering the 5 points, which are pronunciation, PAF, accuracy, flow, clear cut, elevated. All right? Thank you so much. Okay, P. Descovi. I don't know your name. P. Hey, P. Thank you. It's your first time I'm actually watching, but I loved it. So come back for more and go back for more. There are so many live lessons here on IGTV and on YouTube as well. If you prefer the experience on YouTube, go there because there are many classes there as well, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Please hit the like button here so Instagram understands that you liked the class, okay? Okay, Janine asked a question here. She said, could you please elaborate more on the elevated? Yes, I could, Janine. Before I go, I'm going to elaborate more on the concept of elevated. Okay, when you are communicating, you have different places where you can be. You can be at a formal meeting. You can be at a meeting with peers that have been working with you for a long time, people that you know already, people that you feel comfortable with. Or you can be, let's say, with a client that you have to, sell something to. Different situations require adapting your English a little bit. So if I am, for example, telling someone that I don't agree with them, how would you say to your client that you don't agree with them? You can't just say, I don't agree with that. You're trying to sell someone to a client. So you need to find other ways to say that. So you could say, for example, I see your point. I know where you're coming from, but I think I have a suggestion. I have a different idea that could work for you. They want to do something one way, and then you want to do something another way. You think it's not the best way. So all of that, the way that you constructed that leads you to disagreeing and showing another option without hurting the client. When you are talking to your peers, You may be a little more straightforward, but saying I don't agree with you will depend a lot on, you know, who you're talking to. So you could say, I don't see eye to eye with you on this one. I don't quite agree with that, for example. Okay? And talking to your boss, depending on, you know, what kind of company you work with, the culture of the company, of course, you know, hierarchy levels, how close you can get to your boss, how your relationship is. You could say something similar, you know, go more formal, or go more straight to the point, like I'm sorry, but I really have a different point of view, or I have a different point of view. I'm sorry, unfortunately, I'm afraid I have a different point of view, which is a little more formal. So being elevated means having a bouquet of options and knowing exactly what to use in each situation. Never feeling afraid to face a specific environment because I don't know if I am going to be appropriate, if I know how and what to say. Or never actually going through that embarrassment, you know, of being too informal with someone, or the other way around, or always being so formal because you learned that English that is very from the books, and never actually approaching people that you work with. You know, they want to be friends with you, they're from another country, so there is that cultural barrier maybe, and you're like always super formal, super straight to the point, never actually, you know, conversing a little, and, you know, you never, let's say, expand your network because of that. You know, just a supposition. So that's kind of how it goes. I saw here that you said you got it. Okay, and thank you for your question, all right? So I think with that, I'll give you my bye-byes. I will meet you all next week, next Wednesday at the same time, 9 p.m. Brazil time, for another class. And this week, I asked you for the topic, and then I brought the topic that was suggested, one of the topics. So next week, I'll do the same. You can always DM me something that you want to see as well, right? Thank you all for coming. This class will be saved if you want to watch it, if you just got in. Some people are walking in right now. It will be saved. Just go ahead and watch it, okay? Bye-bye. See you next week. Thank you for coming.